Yeah, what is going on, everyone? Welcome on into Coffee with Bros. How are you today? We're chilling with the Mark Zumoff tea today. Look at that beautiful face. Bang! Mark Zumoff, garbage in the gold. What's going on, everybody? It is Wednesday. It's hump day. We're grinding through the week. It's a little bit of a quieter time. Jonathan Gannon spoke yesterday. Not everybody's happy with what he had to say. I'm not surprised. He basically gave you some nonsense. The Flyers, Sixers still kind of maneuvering through some preseason action. Last night you had some baseball, baby. You had some playoff baseball. I was looking forward to that game all day as if it was the Philadelphia Phillies. And guess what? It definitely entertained me. A 6-2 win in Fenway. Stanton had some major hits, but other than that, the Yankees offense was basically quiet because of Eovaldi, who was nasty. That fastball command was unbelievable. And off of that, you can start working in those off-speed pitches. You saw the curveball. You saw the slider. He was unbelievable. Eovaldi was unbelievable. I'm not surprised by that whatsoever. I am surprised that Alex Cora took him out of the game early there. He allowed a homer to Anthony Rizzo, and after that, there was an infield single to Aaron Judge. And basically from there, it's like, hey, we're going right to the pen. And I'm like, yo, Alex, what are we doing here? Are we yanking him a little too early? Well, it doesn't matter because the Red Sox bullpen was fine, issued 0 walks total, and the Yankees just shot themselves in the foot, sending Aaron Judge home at the plate. Miserable. Absolutely miserable. Fireable offense. Fireable. Yeah, of course you have the news about Jalen Smith and Gilmore. Everybody's like, hey, Howie, you know what to do. Yeah, as if Gilmore is ready to sign with the Philadelphia Eagles because he thinks that gives them a golden opportunity to go win a championship, right? I mean, let's be honest with ourselves. Nobody's looking at the Eagles right now. If they're a veteran that, whether it's Jalen Smith, well, Jalen is a little different because of the ties of maybe he wants to stick it to his former squad or something along those lines. But I digress. Teams don't want to play for Philly when they're looking for a chance to actually compete for a championship, if we're being honest with ourselves. Right? I mean, let's just be honest. If we're being honest with ourselves, that's 1,000% the case. Nobody wants to be in this spot right now. A 1-3 football team? Please. That's not necessarily true, though. I know this has been the hot item. This has been the talk of town. Hey, without the sticky stuff, he hasn't been as good. He's had some really dominant games without the sticky stuff, so I don't think it was that. Maybe he's just not healthy. Maybe it's part of the hammy. He was getting rocked. First off, the walk to Rafael Devers, you figured it would come back to bite you at some point there, and bang, what do you know? I don't understand the pitch sequence. We talk about that a lot. Oh, JT Realmuto, why is he calling this? Why is he calling that? Look, you got a change up right over the middle of the plate to Xander Bogaerts. What are you doing? Why are you afraid to pitch a certain way to this lineup? You can't be afraid, and it shows when you are afraid. That thing got rocked. The pitch to Kyle Schwarber. I'll be honest, the pitch to Kyle Schwarber, I don't know how many people are taking that one deep. It looked like it was up and out of the zone. But Schwarber just thought it was June again because in June, my man was just rolling through town, hitting bombs left and right. Ridiculous. Yeah, but to be fair, Nick Pivetta, I mean, look, the Boston Red Sox fans are not all thrilled with the way the Red Sox were this season. Yeah, they beat the Yankees, but it's not as if they had some sensational ride thanks to Nick Pivetta, and the Phillies were just a disaster for letting him go. No, at the end of the day, Nick Pivetta gave you back end of your starting rotation type stuff, and that's what he is. He believes he's something better than that, but he's not. But he's not at all. It's funny. I was texting a couple of my buddies last night from Boston, and I really wanted to go to the game last night. I didn't think of it in time to make it happen, but maybe I do head up to Fenway for a game. My buddy lives literally 10 minutes from Fenway. He's like, dude, we got to go. I'm like, yeah, well, maybe if they advance and they beat the Yankees, maybe we can do it. And then now they play the Rays, like my favorite team outside of the Phillies, to watch the Rays. Maybe I can make a trip up and do a vlog or something. I don't know. but he was basically texting me before, like, dude, this Red Sox team stinks. And I'm trying to tell him, I'm like, look, first off, Garrett Cole, there's something giving me that feeling in my stomach about Garrett Cole tonight that I don't know. I'm just saying. I've seen Evaldi step up. Evaldi playoff mode. Evaldi, you know that there's some damage that's going to happen because of him. Like, I'm not saying damage is going to get hit off of him and the other team will be doing damage. I'm saying he's going to be doing the damage on the bump. Evaldi just has his number called in a shining moment in October. And guess what? He shows. Oh, for sure, he delivers. So, something rubbed me the wrong way with Garrett Cole. I just had this vibe in my stomach, this gut feel in my stomach that, hey, I don't think it'll be as smooth as you think. But the Yankees have so many flaws. The Red Sox do too. The Yankees had so many flaws. Didn't it feel right? Didn't it feel right for the Yankees to have Cole on the mound and still lose in that way where it seemed they didn't really have a fight? Other than Stanton, who stepped up offensively for them, a solo shot by Anthony Rizzo. Other than that, and it all started early when Stanton hits it off the green monster, and you think, here we go. Here's a big home run to start the single. It was a single. We were not good enough. Period. What are we talking about? The Phils, Jose? Talk about the Phils. Did I ever make a video about the Flyer signings? Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if I did for maybe Martin Jones. I don't think I did once we started heading into that backup goalie conversation. But regardless, Clips, I'll be talking about the Flyers very soon here as their season's ready to kick off. Literally next Friday is their first game. That is so insane, the fact that we're flying by. My calendar has so much stuff on it. I get overwhelmed just looking at it, but there's a reason why I have it. But when I flip to next week, you got yourself Friday, Canucks Flyers, 7 p.m. at the Wells Fargo Center. We'll be talking hockey pretty quickly here. It'll sneak up on us before you know it, Clips. It definitely will. Cole got shelled. Yeah. Oh yeah. Cole got shelled pretty good. But, I mean, it's like some of the pitch sequence was a little bizarre for me. You go back to the changeup. You go back to getting to the changeup. You can't leave it up there. You can't. And even the Kyle Schwarber bomb. Like I said, I don't know how many people are turning on that one and letting it ride the way that it did. But you fall behind 1-2 if you're Schwarber. What do you're pretty much normally afraid in that moment. I got 2 strikes on me. It's a 1-2 count against Garrett Cole. No, I'm not nervous. Watch this. It's ridiculous. Yeah, I can't wait for next Friday either. There's some good buzz right now. There's some good energy, regardless of whatever happened last night. That's really not the moral of the story here for the Fly guys. I think everything's trending in the right direction. Everybody seems to be, feeling confident. Carter Hart looks great. You're hearing great things about Travis Konechny. Same about Oscar Lindblom. And look, preseason's preseason. I say this all the time with how things are handled with football. It's so easy in August to talk about how great everything is. Wait until September. Wait until adversity hits. Let me see what happens when you lose a couple games, and I want to see the bounce back. Same is very true with the Philadelphia Flyers right now. It's all wonderful to witness Carter Hart in preseason right now. What happens when he allows 4 goals in the first period in a game, let's say 7 games into the season? What is his response like? How does he bounce back? How does the D-core help him out? What's the power play look like? Let's say you get a man advantage early in the next game. Like, let's say Carter Hart allows 4 goals in game 8 of the season. Game 9, he gets the day off, whatever. Okay, game 10. And then the Flyers get an early power play, knowing that Carter Hart can get a 1-0 lead, settle in, get comfortable. Keith Yandel walking the blue line, giving it back to the top of the circle. Do they score? Do they get that first punch where they're up 1-0 and give Carter some breathing room? How does it all happen? The Red Sox were ready for it, and it was payback for the sweep earlier. Yeah, for sure. And I think it was massive for it to be at Fenway. A lot of the Yankees fans are upset about the way they handled the season, whether it was Boone or whether it's anybody telling Boone what to do. And I think that's basically your answer. Everybody knows that Boone was just a puppet, and all the upper management people with the Yankees are pretty much telling him what to do, decisions being made, how to give the lineup card or who's playing on the lineup card, I should say. Boone doesn't do much, but if they handled the season differently, that game's playing in Yankee Stadium. And how much different are those shots by Stanton off the Green Monster if that's in Yankee Stadium? You're talking about a completely different ball game. It's 1-0 to start. And then you get a 2-run bomb later on because Aaron Judge was on first base when he hit the Green Monster the second time. At that point, it's a totally different baseball game. So it's just crazy to think about. If they handled other situations differently, is that wild card game in Yankee Stadium and how much of a role that played in that it was at Fenway. Huge, huge. We need Jalen Smith. I don't know if we need him. I don't know how much he's got left in the tank, but is it worth a shot to see? Yeah, I mean, it can't hurt you compared to what you have. Of course, it can't be, it won't be worse. It might be the same, but it won't be worse. But at the end of the day, do we need him? Would I love to take a shot? Sure. I'd take a shot on him. I just don't have the highest hopes in the world about it. And of course, this is without saying, but I don't know if there's any information on why he was actually released. Did something go down? Did something happen? Or is this just because? So that's something obviously that plays a role in my decision making. But as we sit here today, yeah, I mean, I would take a shot on it because of what you have right now. You're lacking in certain areas. Your defense needs help. I'm just saying, like, is Jalen Smith the difference in this defense being successful or not? The answer is no. But of course, more talent, the better. When something's not working, try something new. I'm with you. I can get behind that, Fran. I mean, I do think if we do this, and Fran says, I'll pass on Jalen Smith, give me more Davion Taylor and way less Eric Wilson. Sure, Eric Wilson is definitely not very good, but I'll say this. I bet you 3 games into the Davion Taylor experience, we'll be saying, okay, what can we do next? And a name I heard, I was listening to Ruben Frank and Dave Zangaro talk about it a little bit, and this isn't to say that the individual I'm about to mention is the savior of the defense. But one of the areas that this team stinks at right now is stopping the run. Who's one of your best run stoppers as a linebacker? The answer is TJ Edwards. Now, once again, I am not, and let me be clear here, I am not on October 6th, 9:18 a.m. on Coffee with Broads telling you that TJ Edwards is the difference in this defense being successful or not. But if you have an issue in a certain area, which they do in many areas, and one of those issues is meeting people at the line of scrimmage and making sure you stop the run, he is one of your better linebackers at doing that. Now, he's not very good in other areas. So then you think of the issues that come about when you put him in the game, whether it's pass coverage or things of that nature. But you got to try something. You got to go in another direction at something. When are we going to see Flacco start? Never. Joey, you want to see Joe Flacco start right now? You watch this team and what you think about is, wow, it would be so much different if Joe Flacco starts. Because if that's the case, woof. No, Joey, come on, man. Let's use our brain. Let's think. Flacco should be starting. He's a former Super Bowl MVP. Joey, come on, man. Come on. That's all you got. That's all you get. Come on. Listen again and say they do not have a dime. Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah, oh, God, that was horrendous, man. I mean, his answers were absolutely atrocious. He looked like he was starstruck when he was sitting there in front of the media yesterday without any sort of answers. And I love how I kind of threw shade at the fans a bit where it's like, I know what people are saying. Internally, we're okay with giving up certain things that some of this fan base is not, but we know it's about the scheme. We know it's about the schematics of we're willing to give up certain areas on the field, but that's part of our philosophy, and there's certain reaction to that, but we're aware of what it means to our defense. I'm thinking, yeah, well, guess what? Jim Schwartz did more with less. Jim Schwartz made you one-dimensional. You might have hated the double move Jalen Mills got bid on, and you might have not have loved the fact that some of these corners were left outside, but you were not run down the throat of the Eagles. We would force you to put the ball in the air. And you can make the argument that putting the ball in the air in today's era of football is probably better than running the ball anyway. Teams don't want to establish the run anymore. I understand that. But at the end of the day, this is getting gashed on both sides. And don't tell me about they've only allowed X amount over 20-plus play. It doesn't matter because the team is just driving downfield at will, and they're getting enough of their chunk plays through the passing game, along with constant run game damage as well, where it's not working. Your idea, your theory, it doesn't work. Now, what I demanded early was a game plan. Let me see your game plan. And if it doesn't work, fine. But all I need to see right now is what you believe in. So that is what I started early on with before the season began is, fine, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But let me at least see what you're thinking. Right now, they're giving me that. They're giving me at least they have a plan. Now, their plan stinks. But there's times where, let's say, in week 2, I didn't know their plan. I had no idea what they were trying to do offensively. It didn't make any sense. The fact that what were they trying to do? When you have to come away, when that's your takeaway after a game, and you had to take a step back, okay, so what did they even try to establish there? That's where it's concerning. And it's concerning that this is what they're trying to do. My point is, okay, we at least see a plan. Their plan stinks. How do you adjust the plan now? So I'm just being objective here because early on it was, I don't know anything about them. Let me at least get an idea by saying, I at least know what you're trying to do. Okay, we have that. That doesn't work. All right, let's try to maneuver around it a little bit. Yeah, well, when it's third and short constantly because the run game is something that teams can really rely on, you're basically going to have third and short. And when you have third and short, you're consistently going to be able to basically convert. Who do I have in cards? Dodgers. All right, I'll be honest with you. Yep, you're right. No Max Muncy. But, dude, I mean, maybe I'm just emotional because of the way that they ended their season. I'm all in on this Cardinals team. I think they get the job done, dude. I really do. I think they win this game. I think it's going to be one of those crazy stories where the Dodgers win 106 games. They have to play in a wild card one-game playoff. They run into the hottest team in all of baseball, and they lose, and they don't get an opportunity to play in the NLDS. I really honestly believe it. Wainwright, Scherzer, it's going to be ridiculous. I'm really looking forward to it. I just wanted to look up some of the numbers. The over-under's at 7.5 runs. This is according to ESPN. And the line is minus 219 for the Dodgers. Maybe that moved a little bit. We'll look at it on our DraftKings Sportsbook, of course. And you can utilize DraftKings Sportsbook. Use promo code BROADS when you sign up for fantastic odds and promotions. So it's minus 235 on the money line right now for the Dodgers. I actually like the Cardinals plus 190. I feel like it's worth an opportunity. It's worth a shot, right? I mean, I'm not going out and saying I'm putting my mortgage on it, but I'm just saying, come on. There's definitely a way the Cardinals can squeeze out of L.A. with a victory, considering the way that they've been playing. You look at plus 190. Is it worth the sprinkle little jimmies on it? Is it worth to just sprinkle a little how do you do on the Cardinals money line? I don't think it hurts. Dodgers might want to rethink throwing Mad Max out there in light of the Yankees' loss. What? Why? Why would they rethink throwing Max Scherzer? You live and die with your top dogs. You paid Garrett Cole to be that guy. So when the situation pops up, he gets the nod. Max Scherzer, I mean, why would you go in another direction? I mean, I know they have billions of options. I'm just saying, from a staff standpoint, yes, they have pieces that are amazing. But I don't know why you would rethink throwing Max Scherzer. If you tell me I get Max Scherzer on the bump for a one-game playoff, I'm taking it. I'm taking it. Yeah, well, you're right. You're right. Not exact. 102 Phillies won versus the wild card. I'm just I'm pumped for it. Am I as pumped as I was yesterday due to the rivalry? Maybe not the same level of juice. If my level of juice yesterday was 12 out of 10, I think tonight I'm at like a 9.5 out of 10. So I'm still ready to roll through the roof here. I'm ready to run through a brick wall, but just because it was in Fenway and the power behind the rivalry yesterday, yeah, there was a bit more juice added, but 9 innings on my couch. I was pumped up. I mean, it was must watch, pitch by pitch by pitch by pitch. Yeah, I know. Going with David Price is not what you'd be doing. Is not what you'd be doing. Nah, Scherzer's filthy. I'd go with Max hand down. Yeah, of course. That's why they're doing it, because that's the obvious choice and that's the right move to do. I'm fascinated. Now, I remember looking back at the Cardinals while the Phillies were 500. I went, wow, the Cardinals are 500 too, huh? I wonder how their fan base is treating it, because, to them, baseball's life. They have that fan base where they're extremely passionate about baseball. I'm so damn jealous. I'm jealous of baseball cities. There's nothing cooler to me than baseball cities where that's their number one. It's their pride and joy. They talk about it like we talk about the Eagles. And that's how it was for the Cardinals. I'm like, 500. Baseball, I'm sure they're not thrilled. And then what do you know? You blink of an eye, they're winning 18 straight games, 17 straight. I'm just watching them roll through. Amazing. Broads, would I take a chance on Jalen Smith? Yeah, I mean, I guess I would take a chance on him. I'm just, I'm not banging the table like I see some Eagles fans out there today on Twitter saying you have to do it or you're an idiot, or you have to do it. I can't believe you wouldn't do it. Yeah, take a shot at it, sure. But if they don't, I'm not going to be kicking and screaming either. So it's like, yeah, look, there's a reason why he's not with the Cowboys anymore. There's a reason why this is happening. And I get it. You got a billion holes on your team. So it's two totally different scenarios, two totally different rosters. One defense is getting shredded week in and week out. You're looking for talent. I got you. I understand. It is what it is. I would take a chance. Yes. I would take a chance. Yes. Am I crying if they don't? No. Yeah. No, it's a good point, though. Let's see. There's a reason why he got cut, and I promise you it's not because of the Cowboys' depth. Yeah, I'm interested to see why as well, if there's any information that just has not been released yet. That's something definitely to look out for. I'm waiting for the Adam Schefter bombs to continue to drop throughout the day. You get one on Gilmore, and you had one, of course, with Smith. So it's just one after the next, and you're waiting for the next one. Now, I don't know if anyone saw this. It was going around Eagles Twitter, but on Wikipedia, Jonathan Gannon's Wikipedia page is pretty damn funny. I'll read it to you. In 2021, Gannon was hired by the Philadelphia Eagles as their defensive coordinator. Gannon brought to the team his revolutionary Swiss cheese defense. It is based on the theory that you expose so many holes that the teams are confused as to which weakness to expose first. Up until fall 2021, there were two primary types of coverage in the NFL: man-to-man and zone. Gannon has changed this by combining the primary weaknesses of both types of coverage: the weakness of zone defense in the seams and the gaps, and the weakness of man-to-man marking when an offense is able to exploit the middle of the field. Motivated by Gannon's system, his players supplement his approach with a tendency towards unnecessary and entirely avoidable penalties. Deploying an update to Philadelphia Eagles defensive coordinator legend Jim Johnson's bend don't break approach, Gannon theorizes that by both bending and breaking, he can lull offenses in a false sense of security. Once an opposing team reaches a lead of 30 points or more, they may play second or even third stringers, allowing a slim chance that with the right combination of onside kicks and garbage time points, the Eagles might lose by 15 or less. It is entirely possible that against other NFC East teams, the strategy may even result in a victory. That's amazing, man. Wikipedia, I would never in a billion years wake up and say, you know what I'm going to do today? I know exactly what I'm going to do today. I'm going to go on in Wikipedia and I'm going to just put up this funny little thing. Like, I would never do that, but that's absolutely hysterical. Like, it's pretty damn, like, if I'm Jonathan Gannon, is there anything you can do other than kind of laugh? Now, you shouldn't. It should be all business, and you should be in the room trying to figure out what changes, what needs to happen. Maybe think about that dime package. I think that's a good start. Think about the dime package. Think about helping out your team from that sense. But, it is what it is, I guess. As our friend Ben Simmons would say, it is what it is. What does WinView say? Well, it says you're going to have a great time. WinView is the nation's leading sports predictor, allowing you to compete in pregame or live contest against other people, not in-house. Answer 8 questions about each game before it begins, or play in quarter-long contests while you're watching the game to take your viewing experience to the next level. Play for free or with real money. Play with your friends and family, make a league, and play while watching on Sundays. This is the perfect app for people who love their team and players and can use their fandom to win cash and dominate the competition. There's no spreads, no over-unders, no salary caps. It's just questions about the teams and players that you love watching. First-time deposit bonus up to $200. You can play your risk-free $20, deposit and spend your first $20, and they will match it. Contests are for all sports. Play any pregame contest for any game. Make 8 to 10 picks about the game before it begins. Then sit back and track your progress on the leaderboard. Play along live for national TV games and throughout others. Play in capped contests with a handful of people, or play in global tournaments with big money prizes. So make sure you check that out. There's some playoff baseball. There's so many fun. It's awesome. It's honestly just asking you questions about the game. You answer the questions. It's pretty self-explanatory, but it's unique. It's different. It's not your standard sports book betting. It's totally different. It's an awesome environment. I'm constantly playing my buddies in these contests. They just had an awesome one. It ended, but this is just to give you a little bit of an idea on what they do. There was a jackpot prize of $3,000 for the Phillies versus Braves series, and it was just an awesome experience. I didn't win $3,000, unfortunately, but you have the opportunity to. WinView.tv/Broads. All their information is down below in the description. Matt Klentak wants to be signed by the Mets. Look, I would love for you to get signed by the Mets, Matt Klentak. It would be ideal. There would be nothing better in my life than to see Matt Klentak get hired by the New York Mets. I know some fans were getting on Fletcher Cox for having somewhat of an underwhelming season. Do you think it's an overreaction? No, it's not an overreaction. It's real. He's not doing enough. He's not even close. I mean, he is not even close to being acceptable with his play right now. I mean, he's barely showing up on the stat sheet at all. And before I get the response of, he does so many things that don't show up on the stat sheet that's important. I'm not downplaying that, but both can be true. He is still impacting the game. He's not impacting the game enough. Both can be true. And while he is collapsing due to age, and he is hitting a wall due to age, he's not 34. He's not 35. He's 30, and there's still more than what he's giving in there. So there's more in there. We're not getting it right now. He's not 22. He's not 23. He's not 24. Nobody's demanding Fletcher Cox to give you that level of production. But we're asking for more than 0 stats on the stat sheet. We're asking more than just a handful of tackles. That's basically what we're playing with right now. A handful of tackles. Come on, bro. You're better than that, Fletch, and he knows it. He knows it. I don't really like the way Jalen Reagor is being utilized at the moment, but yeah, I mean, it's not a strong start here to his NFL campaign. I don't like his approach with the media and not so much the media, I guess social media is the right word I'm looking for, always attacking the fans. It's the same thing with Darius Slade. Like, you two just shut up and go play football. Like, shut up about the fans. Like, oh, you said this about me, but I'm actually good. Who cares? Who cares? Do you think, look, in sports talk radio, are there people that don't like me and don't like the way that I approach my show? Yes. I don't care. I don't care about those people. I keep doing my thing. I focus on the positives. I continue to work on my craft. As a football player, who cares about the moron who's getting hammered in the Jetro lot that just shotgunned 7 beers and walked into the game and said, you stink there? Who cares? They focus on the dumb stuff. They focus on the Twitter trolls. Get to work. But Jalen Reagor should never have one target in a game. No matter if you think he stinks or if he's not as bad as what other people says he is, he's not 1 reception for 9 yards in garbage time bad. He should at least be in that Quez Watkins category where it's 3 receptions, 33 yards at the minimum, right? And that's not good for a first-round pick. That would be underwhelming. But he's not 1 reception, 9 yard. He's got to be more in that 3 receptions, 33 for at least to be manageable here for what we're trying to get done this year. Well, we don't know exactly who wanted Reagor, who wanted Justin Jefferson. It's the same thing as J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. We know the front office and the owner has his fingerprints on things. So we really do not know who picked Reagor, who wanted Jefferson, who wanted this guy, who wanted that guy. We don't know, unfortunately, and we never will know. But, yeah, it doesn't look good right now for Jalen Reagor. There's no denying that. I agree. It would be nice for Cox to step up and help Hargrave out. Yeah, for sure. He needs to. I mean, it's not, it would be nice. It's, we demand that, right? Like there's times where I talk about, well, you have to demand this or it's unfair to demand that. Well, it's not unfair to demand Fletcher Cox to be a better version of Fletcher Cox. Not the 25-year-old version of Fletcher Cox, but not this, where you're getting a handful of tackles for the first 4 games of the season. And maybe that's a part of it. Maybe it's early on. Do we talk about Fletch differently after week 8, week 9, week 10, when nowadays August is irrelevant to veterans? September is your preseason to some of these veteran players that don't get a lot of time, so they heat up. But at the same time, Javon Hargrave doesn't seem to have an issue. And now you start out 1-3 because of it. Now, I don't think that's the reason. I'm throwing it out there as maybe it's a possibility over time he starts heating up and getting more into a flow. It's pretty simple, Marky. It's called scheme. That's how a lot of this works. You utilize your scheme. You get the ball in these playmakers. That's what they've done. That's literally the identity of this offense. When they've been doing well, they just pitch and catch, throw and catch real quick, get the ball out super, super quickly, and then give them the ball and let them work in space. Devontae Smith for that first play in the first drive, you just threw it over to Devontae Smith. You had good looking up front, and he just ran. You can get Jalen Reagor the ball a couple yards from the line of scrimmage and let him work in space. That's what Quez Watkins does. That's what Devontae Smith does. Now, at times, they beat you over the top as well. It's not all they do, but come on now. I mean, you're telling me that there's no such thing as wide receivers that just get open due to scheme, and then you put the football in their hands and they can fly and they work with their speed from there. They absolutely 1,000% do that all around football, and that's how Jalen Reagor should be used, and it's just not happening that way. No, he wasn't used enough at all against the Chiefs. He had 7 carries for 13 yards. Kenneth Gainwell did more than him. Now, he did more in less, if you will, but still, I mean, Miles Sanders, there's a correlation between him not playing and him not bouncing the holes and hitting the gaps the right way. It's something that needs to be fixed. It's something that has to change. He needs to be smarter when he's running the football, or else this is going to continue to happen. Brogdon and Lamb. Well, how about Levert? Because I saw Levert was the latest on the Pacers. So I don't think you can definitely rule that out of this conversation. Karis, Levert, trade, Ben Simmons. I'm just going to Google it and see if the story pops up. Ben Simmons, yeah, Bleacher Report, Hoops Hype. There's a NBC account that had a story about it as well. Ben Simmons trade rumors. Karis LeVert among players discussed in 76ers trade. So, I mean, that's a huge name to leave out when mentioning the Pacers. That would be interesting. I mean, that's a name. And that's what I'm saying, where the Sixers, everyone wants to talk about Daryl Morey playing this the wrong way. No, he hasn't. No, he hasn't. He's actually played it a very, very great way. And honestly, the Sixers are in position by a long shot. They have all, and I mean all, the leverage right now when you think of Ben Simmons. You have Ben and Rich Paul right now extremely disgusted and disappointed with what they think they could get that money back that they've been fined. You're not getting that money back, man. It's just not happening. It's a hefty, and it's going to keep going and keep climbing. So this whole, I'll sit out the whole season if I have to. Good luck, because you're going to be paying for it. And they thought they'd be able to maneuver through, not get fined, or they'd get fined, but they'd get their money back, basically. And that's not how it's going to play out. Now, Karis LeVert, of course, had some serious injuries that have limited him, but he's 20 points per game guy when healthy. You just don't know exactly what you're going to get in terms of health. Three-point shooting, not the greatest in the world, 33% career-wise. But does this tickle anybody's fancy? Dude, Marky, I mean, come on, man. Have you watched NFL football? Please, bros, if Rager can't get separation, though, it's not about that. It's about scheme. It's the same thing. It's the same exact thing. Is route running can't take the top off the defense. You're acting as if there's no such thing as wide receivers that can't take people over the top. There's a billion of them in the National Football League. There's slot receivers in the National Football League where their job is to be in the slot. That is an area where Jalen Reagor can succeed. You're acting as if the only wide receiver ever in the history of football are outside receivers that just go long. Do you watch football? I mean, come on, man. What are we talking about here? Let's use Greg Ward as an example, right? And Greg Ward, you don't win Super Bowls because you have Greg Wards. My point is, there was a role over the last handful of years in the slot that Greg Ward perfected and helped out as a reliable wide receiver in a specific role. Now, take Rager's skill set, apply that to the position of a slot receiver. He's 3 times the athlete that Greg Ward is, the wide receiver Greg Ward is. He should be, at least. So if Greg Ward could thrive in that role, Jalen Reagor could thrive in that role. Please, man, come on. No, I'm not saying that at all. You're just saying nonsense. Jalen Reagor has not been good. Jalen Reagor has not been successful. He's not 1 reception for 9 yards in garbage time bad. There's an area where he can succeed. They're not getting that out of him right now. That's all. Maybe they can't. Mark, are you delusional? You just told me that you're not allowed but he can't take people off the top. And if you can't take people off the top, you can't do anything. Then you respond with, but he's good at finding areas in the zone. First off, he's just running his slot route. He's just being a slot receiver. Come on, man. You make no sense is what it is, Mark. You have no idea what you're talking about is really what's going on here. You're saying that there's only one type of wide receiver in the league, which is people who could blow over the top. And then when I mention someone who does the opposite, well, all he's doing is finding an area in the zone. But you're changing what the hell you're saying. You're not even making sense. So we'll move on. No, I'm not. He's better than Greg Ward. I'm telling you there's a slot receiver position. I'm referencing the position. I'm not referencing. I am using Greg Ward as the reference, but the main focus here is what position does he play? Slot receiver. Jalen Reagor's skill set as an individual is better than Greg Ward. If Greg Ward can succeed in the slot, I believe Jalen Reagor can succeed in the slot position. But we'll move on. Well, we had enough of Markey this morning. That's fine. I can live without Markey in my life this morning. The best wide receiver gets so much separation. The best wide receiver doesn't always get the best separation. Yeah, I mean, it's not just fully about. I mean, there's so many ways to scheme open guys. Kyle Shanahan schemes open guys with ease. Come on. Sean McVay, he does the same exact thing. I just drew a blank on Sean McVay's name. But yeah, he does the same exact thing. It's just about scheme-based and scheming guys open. And I don't like the way that he's been utilized, but that's not saying that he's magnificent either. He's been struggling. If you go back to the first game of the year against the Atlanta Falcons, Jalen Reagor had 6 receptions, 50 yards, 1 touchdown. That's what I'm talking. Like, that's all I'm asking for out of Jalen Reagor. He did fine in that game. 6 receptions, 50 yards, 1 touchdown against the Atlanta Falcons, who might actually have a better defense than the Kansas City Chiefs, to be fair. So don't tell me he can't do anything. I watched him utilized in a great way in game 1. There's a way to do it. It's just not working right now, as there's a lot of tweaks that has to happen, and it takes time. But I literally watched earlier this year with the same exact method. Game 1 and game 4 was the same exact method. Get the ball out quick, have Jalen Hurts get it to their playmakers, let them work in space. So with the same exact game plan that they just used that worked pretty well, they did it with Jalen Reagor in game 1, and it worked out to the point where he scored, and he got 50 yards on 6 receptions. So once again, you're just wrong, and that's okay, but there's a way to use him, and I've already saw it happen just a handful of games ago, not 3 years ago, not 4 years ago, using the same exact plan, the same plan that they just moved the football with. He was a crucial part of, and he had 6 receptions. So don't tell me. Well, sure. Yeah, George, that's a different conversation, though. I agree. You don't draft a slot receiver in the first. You're absolutely 1,000% correct with that. You miss out on Justin Jefferson, and you take a slot receiver. Oh, no doubt, that's bad. That's not good whatsoever. But that's a totally different conversation than what we're having right now. We're talking about just the usage of Reagor in general. And there's a way to get 6 receptions for 50 yards out of him, which is a nice day at the office. And by the way, he scored a touchdown in that game as well. So I'm just saying, I mean, he's better than 1 reception, 9 yards in garbage time. That's all my point is. That's all my point is. Is it the 15th yet, bros? I need the Flyers to give me some optimism. I'm with you, man. We're getting there. 1 more week before you know it. That's the thing, man. Everything's like before you know it. You think the season's so far away. Blink of an eye, Flyers hockey's ready to rock pretty soon here. You know? It's amazing. I'm pretty pumped, by the way. I'm not going to tell you who it is, but I got a really fun guest for Schmoozed that will drop tomorrow. We're recording today at 11 a.m., and then I will post it Thursday morning, 10 a.m., which is when we normally drop our Schmoozed episodes, of course. But I'm really looking forward to it. I think you're all going to enjoy it as well, just like you're going to enjoy BetQL. Do you want to get an advantage over your sportsbook? You need to download BetQL, the only app you'll need to make smart bets. Their best bet model scans over 350,000 unique bets per year to give you a best bet recommendation for every game across all major sports. Their model covers everything from spreads, over-unders, and player prop bets. There's sharp data so you can see who the professionals are backing. Line movement so you can jump on betting opportunities in real time. And team lineup breaking news and injury status updates. Head to the App Store or Google Play Store right now to download BetQL. Enter the discount code BROADS at payment checkout for 25% off any of their subscription offerings. You can find all of this information down below in the description. Yeah, I saw the comments about Jones and the way that he's looked in net. To me, it comes down more to the to Carter Hart, of course, but yeah, it matters. I mean, I know they're going to probably rely a little heavily on the backup goalie, considering what they've mentioned a billion times with the scheduling. The scheduling this year has been a lot different. You have the Winter Olympics in there as well. So the way that the schedule is played out, you might see a lot more Jones than you anticipate, or just a lot more backup goalies, I should say, than you would anticipate starting the season. They have enough to worry about the coaching. Can't spend a ton of time trying to scheme. Dude, come on. That's their job, Dean. The coaches don't. What? What? Did you literally just say that the coaches have too much on their table that they can't scheme open guys? That's too much for them to do? That's their job. Their job is to have a scheme that benefits their players. This is a bad take, my friend. The coach should not have the time to scheme open guys. That's their job, to scheme open players. You're acting as if I'm asking Nick Sirianni for 7 hours a day to just study Jalen Reagor. I mean, come on, man. Please. And it's not that difficult. It's not that crazy. It's not even to the point where it's like he just has to be magically wide open every play. It could be a screen to Jalen Reagor, a screen to Jalen Reagor with blockers in front of him. He's got speed. Give him the ball. I mean, come on. It's not rocket science here where I'm demanding Nick Sirianni to not eat for 6 days just to scheme open Jalen Reagor for 2 plays. It's the NFL. They're head coaches. This is the difference. It's like in football, it's not as wild as what you think it is. There's basic fundamental plays that work. And you can utilize these players. And they're not like, oh, I got to do this and run. It's like there's fundamental, structured, like basic plays, basic packages. It's amazing. It's amazing. Today's been a hell of a day. Today's been a crazy day here in Coffee with Pros. A lot of energy flying around. That's what happens, though, when people get frustrated and they get annoyed and they get bothered by what they see because, they're upset. They want to see success. But, I mean, there's got to be some, brain cells involved. I don't know. Just spitballing. There should be, a thought process or thinking. Just spitballing. That ain't happening, Connor. They're not grabbing Gilmore and Jalen Smith. Why would Gilmore want to come to the Philadelphia Eagles? Honestly, if we're just being honest, why would Gilmore think to himself, I want to go to Philadelphia right now because everything looks great there? There's no shot. No shot. I don't necessarily know. I mean, the problem is red zone. The problem is their red zone. They're moving the football and they're doing a good job, but it's like the lack of timely runs I think really hurts them. Also with the scrambling, I know that Nick Sirianni mentioned the scrambling. He wants more plays to be made with those scrambles, and yeah, I can agree with that. Once Jalen does scramble a bit, what's happening? What are players doing downfield? How are they getting open? What type of areas are they running into? That needs to happen for sure. I mean, they're moving the ball fine. They need to execute better, though, when they're within the 20-yard line and to the goal line. That needs to be smarter for sure. For sure, that needs to get better. And I think running the football helps then because Jalen Hurts can become more of a factor, too, with an option. That's what Jalen Hurts needs to do as well, is be utilized more with that run game. No doubt about it. Am I ready to see Wayne? Oh, yeah, no doubt. I'm pretty pumped up for it. I said, if my 1 to 10, right? If 10 is I can't wait. Yesterday was about a 12 for Yankees Red Sox. This game's probably about 9.5 or 10. So it's up there. It's just, Yankees Red Sox in Fenway speaks a little bit differently, but ultimately a 1-game playoff, a Game 7 vibe with the hottest team in baseball coming to town with Wainwright versus a 106-win team without Max Muncy. It's going to be interesting. And I'm honestly at the point where I think I'm putting money down on the money line of the Cardinals. I truly believe the Cardinals can win this game. And if they don't, it's whatever. It's just good odds. I mean, it's plus 190 right now. It's not anything that will, crush me if they lose. But I just think that there's decent value considering how well they've played to maybe sprinkle a couple little how do you do's on there. That's all. How concerned am I with the Sixers bench? I haven't seen the Sixers bench. What do you mean? Like with Niang, Drummond, Milton? I don't know. I'm just, it's hard for me, Josh, honestly, after one preseason game to be in the, okay, what are we going to do with the bench mode right now? You're also going to trade Ben Simmons to get something back in return, which pushes people to the bench, which would change the rotation, which would change who you have. So there's such a big hole right now due to the Ben Simmons drama that it's hard to really analyze because getting players back in return. If you get 2 or 3 players, one being a starting caliber guy, and then the others maybe being or 2. Let's say you get 2 players involved. One is a starter, and the other guy's a good bench guy. That could be your 6th or 7th man coming off of the bench. It really changes exactly where you're at. So it's kind of difficult for sure. He's had a couple issues. I mean, he missed Zach Ertz, and he missed Greg Ward, but ultimately it was a good game. Those were 2 that have to be hit, and that's the difference in very successful quarterbacks in this league and then struggling quarterbacks in this league for sure. But if you look at the big picture of that game against the Kansas City Chiefs, he had a strong game. He missed a few, yeah, no doubt, and he needs to be sharper in those areas. That's part of the learning curve. That's part of the learning experience, though, that we knew this season was going to be about. He's missed a couple throws, but he was still great all game. He was good all game. When do we see the Phillies end their drought? No, I don't know, man. What will it take? You're stuck. You're stuck because you have your Bryce Harper, JT contracts out there. But at the same time, as Bryce alluded to, you need to build from within. And he was the one saying, we have to sign JT. And now he's the one saying, we can't just be spending money all around. I didn't like signing JT. They signed him. They're stuck. They have to rebuild. You need a center fielder, a left fielder, a leadoff guy, a third baseman, a shortstop, a pitcher, and 3 bullpen pieces. So how long is it going to take? Probably a couple of years, unfortunately. I say Dave Dombrowski, we're going to have to see his game plan after this season. It'll probably be 2 more years or so until we're really having something that makes more sense. Matt Klentak left this organization in the dust, and he left this organization in a really tough spot that is brutal. That would be unreal to see a Fenway game vlog. Yeah, I know. I want to do it so bad. What are the odds it actually happens? I don't know. I'm not putting a lot on it because that's a big trip up the boss. No, it's not. I made the trip a billion times in my life. I want to do it really badly, and I think I should just say, fuck it, let's go. Who cares? Let's do it. Let's just do it, man. Let's do it. But at the same time, I got work. I got to help with the puppies, my fiance. There's things I actually have to take care of around here. To just drop it all and say, screw it, I'm going up to Fenway. I don't know. I'll think about it. I'll see what happens. I want to do it badly, though. There's no doubt. I don't blame you for putting money on the Cards. Yeah, it's worth a shot. I mean, if they lose, they lose. I'm not going to cry in my sorrows. I'll be okay. Has there been anything on the Twitter sphere since we started Coffee with Broads that I've missed or anything? Doesn't look like it, huh? I want to see if any news on some of the players released. Doesn't seem it. Ruben Frank just put up an article on NBC Sports Philadelphia about Jalen Hurts here. What? Okay. Let's see. We've seen the good and the bad. There's a little bit of both. Now, the consistency that you want from your franchise quarterback, nope. A week earlier in Dallas, he wasn't very good. But if you look at the improvement he's already shown, there's no reason to not think he's capable of performing at a high level every week. He's 23. There are 13 quarterbacks, 25 and under, starting in the NFL, and only 2, Kyler Murray and Joe Burrow, have recorded better numbers than Hurts. And that's with the new coach and a new scheme, an ever-changing offensive line, young receivers, and largely without the benefit of a running game. Yeah, that's very fair. I'm optimistic on Jalen Hurts. People think I hate Jalen Hurts because I bring up the flaws. No, it's okay to say that there's flaws in his games that you are worried about, and things that have been mentioned throughout Jalen Hurts as a whole since being drafted as a second-round talent, and people having questions prior to him even coming to the NFL level. But that doesn't mean I don't think he can grow. That doesn't mean I don't think he has the right attitude. I'm impressed by Jalen Hurts. I think he's had strong moments. He's had some really hideous ones as well. And if your response is, well, that's to be expected, who cares? You're right. That is to be expected for sure. But that doesn't mean I can't point them out or I can't bring them up and I can't recognize them when discussing the football game. That doesn't get put to the side because, well, you knew it was going to happen. No, it's still discussed, and it's still a part of the journey that we mentioned. It doesn't mean he blows. It doesn't mean I'm getting rid of him. It doesn't mean that I don't believe in him. I think that there's something in there. I just need to see it happen. I need to see the 17 games to have it, but I will react game by game as we should. As we should. Everyone's talking about Ristolainen right now in the chat. What did I miss? Is Ristolainen actually bad? Oh, no. He just played for the Sabres. I agree with Arm Zebra here. I agree with Williams in terms of Ristolainen. Yeah, I mean, you can see his physical body, his physical presence is no doubt recognizable. He's hitting guys up along the wall. It's been great. It's been great. But with that being said, thank you all so much for hanging out with me today on Coffee with Broads. It's 10 o'clock. That means it's time to shut it down. I'm looking forward to recording Schmooze today with the fantastic guest. That will be dropped Thursday morning at 10 a.m. And then, yeah, we'll see how the discussion kind of rolls through today as time moves forward. But I want to thank everybody so much for hanging out this morning here on Coffee with Broads, and I will catch you later.